This is the Hamish and Andy Show podcast.
3, 2, 1.
So I'm waxing down me board this arvo, and I realise I haven't even thought about
Antics.
Oh, I love Antics.
Chickens, I've been knitting doilies all bloody day. It's high time I catch up on.
Pull my finger, Ham.
Okay.
Antics.
Well, everyone's agreed to drop everything because it's 3 o'clock. And Hamish and Andy have declared today's topic is...
Smell the cheese, Ham?
Okay.
Antics.
This is Hamish and Andy's Happy Hour.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hamish and Andy back with another happy hour. The fourth last for the year, Ham. By the end of this week,
You're right.
we complete the happy hour and we go into hibernation like all bears to gather energy for when we return to radio.
That's right, Andy. We're
in
radio
July.
bears. No, when the gorgeous sun comes out next July and thaws the ice, we will emerge from our radio caves and sniff around the microphone and forage for fun times.
I was talking about this with Hogs last night.
Yeah.
He said that the bears just sleep for 5 months straight.
It's pretty much what they do.
Do they get up at all?
No.
Any weeing?
Yeah,
pooing?
they. I don't think they even. I don't think they even urinate or defecate. I think there is a bit. Sometimes it's not like illegal.
Yeah.
Park rangers and stuff don't arrest them. There might be one or two sleepy get-ups to have a wee.
Yeah, okay, sure. But they try and keep their eyes closed so they don't completely wake
It's
up.
basically like you've had a huge night
Yeah.
and you're trying to still sleep it through.
When they decide to hibernate, are they rushing into it or are they looking around going...
Well, they tank up. They tank up on food
Yeah.
and water and stuff.
You'd have one more night of that, wouldn't you? You'd try and run that dry.
Well, I think they essentially are pushed into the cave because they run out of food.
All right, okay.
So it's not like they have an all-you-can-eat banquet.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bit of, you know, it's
done?
a bit of looking at the watch going, I reckon we hibernate. This party's over. But Ando,
Yes.
something even more exciting. So we've hibernated a segment from the other day where you
Yesterday.
where you were able to not pass a very what we thought was basic test.
Yeah, I failed a test for a girl who had a list of 100
Yeah.
things that she needs for the man of her dreams to tick before she decides to date them.
I randomly picked 5 numbers from the list, thinking that you would at least get 3 or 4 out of 5. You got none out of 5 today.
Three.
What's that?
None out of 3, was it?
Well, I mean, we just had to give up. We were running out of time. That's why today we're bringing back the list. Until you get one, we will just keep randomly selecting numbers.
Jeez.
Now, it was pretty tough yesterday because you had to name the periodic table amongst other things.
Yeah.
But we will have that on today's show. But
What's
also,
after this?
Up next, a very, very important question that there might not be an answer to.
Ooh.
And so today's topic is antics. Difficult thing to define antics, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'll give it to you. This is something I was trying to figure out this morning. What is the difference between antics and shenanigans?
I would say that they're the same. One and the same.
I don't think they are.
Really?
But I mean, well, why do we have both words?
Well, there's often.
Well, there has to be a slight difference.
No, there's often 2 words that mean the exact same.
Synonyms is what you're talking about.
Yes.
But surely there is a slight category, because it's like, I suppose the slight, like vigorous and rigorous.
Yeah.
Very, very close,
Yeah.
but slightly different meanings.
Sure. Okay, so antics. I feel like shenanigans has got a little bit more cheek to it.
That's the thing. Here's where I've landed on. Shenanigans does feel a bit more like you haven't planned it. And you can also turn it off and on. But antics feels a bit like it's more of a character trait, more something that it's harder to get out of your system.
All right.
Let me give you this test,
Okay,
though.
go for it.
So I've got a bunch of situations. Would you call these antics or shenanigans?
Yes.
Pinching people on the bum.
Shenanigans.
What type of shenanigans?
Probably
Illegal.
illegal. would be-
Unwanted. Just farting a lot. Not being a person that discreetly farts. I think that's antics.
Parading your
No,
flatulence.
just being in a workplace and farting rather than going off somewhere privately to do it.
Antics.
That's antics.
That's antics.
Farting on someone is shenanigans.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So somewhere in there lies the definition.
Yeah.
If it's just a character trait
Yes.
that is noticeable.
He's up to his old antics.
It's like, oh, that's Trav.
you
He
can't
just farts randomly.
Yeah.
And he never tries to hide it.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. There's Susan. She'll run up on you and try and fart on your head.
Shenanigans.
That's shenanigans. Because a bit more effort's been put into it.
Because you can't be up to your old shenanigans.
Yeah, but I'd like you to cut these shenanigans out.
Yes.
Does
So that-
lead to...
I think so. Shenanigans is more
More
spontaneous.
of a choice, though.
It's more spontaneous and it's more of a choice. Where Antics,
it's a bit more ingrained
trait.
in you.
Yeah.
So would you go? Yeah, okay. Because initially I had a specific action is Antics and a group of Antics is Shenanigans, but I don't think I don't think I'm right. It all comes down to the choice.
Yeah.
And how much investment you put in. So like water bombing someone's Shenanigans.
Yes.
But being careless with water is Antics. Because it's just more of the kind of thing you do.
Yeah.
Another one I had down was somersaults.
Maybe Shenanigans is more of a deliberate approach.
This might tell me if you think this works. Somersaults in the circus if you're a clown. That's just antics.
Yeah.
That's just part of a clown's antics.
Yeah.
Somersaults in the office if you're not a clown. Shenanigans.
It's the happy hour. Haim, as it is our last week for some time, it's important just to cover off on a few of the key segments, including this one.
What's that smell? It's the winds of glory.
Gee, this has been one of my favourites for the year, Haim, for the happy hour.
Famous flatulence.
Yes. Winds of glory. Have you passed wind in a famous place? Has to be very famous for to be the place.
Yeah.
Or
have you got a big scalp?
Yes. Have you taken down a celebrity or someone in that realm?
Very, very honourable waft from Alexander came in. He was 9 years old at the time, so this is almost 10 years ago. Roger Federer was out. He was the world number one at the time. He came out for the Australian Open. Now, he played that warm-up tournament at Kooyong.
Yes.
Sometimes there's a Kooyong Classic just before the Australian Open. He knew Roger was coming out of a doorway. They were hanging around waiting for him. They had the big tennis ball. They wanted Roger to sign it. He said it was very, very gassy, and he released what he says was such a powerful waft that it was almost solid.
Okay.
Because he'd had a big day on fizzy drinks, and I think, as a 9-year-old, he was just bursting. At that moment, Roger came out of the door and hit the wall.
And definitely smelt it.
And completely smelt it.
Yeah,
So there's absolutely no doubt from seeing Roger's face that he smelt it.
It's an honourable
But as a
waft.
kid, he ran away. He just got panicked. He panicked and he thought that Roger would have the power to maybe identify him or something.
Yep.
And he just nicked off. Still a very honourable waft if you were remembering it 10 years later about that time you farted and Roger Federer smelt it, to take down the number one at the time is a great scalp.
Yeah, I agree.
It's terrific.
We would accept anyone up to number 3 in the world, I reckon.
Yeah. Any of the top, anyone that made the final or semis, well done. That's an honourable waft.
But honourable waft is just someone that's close to Winds of Glory. Who's today's Winds of Glory?
We have a young man named Ben. Ben, how are you?
Hello, how you going?
Yeah, really good, Ben. You've submitted something that is an outstanding Winds of Glory. Now, we'll get you to run us through it in a moment. It does have shades of an entrance that we've had before, and one of the entries we've had before.
All right, Batmobile?
Not Batmobile.
Okay.
Sports related.
Sure, okay.
We've had a Winds of Glory in a coach's box at the AFL.
You're right.
Now, Ben, you've taken it to another level in terms of the celebrity you've brought down. Run us through your Winds of Glory.
Yeah, so I was basically working in the commentary box at the MCG during the Boxing Day test.
Oh, wow.
As a scorer.
The most iconic cricket match in the world of the year.
And were you working for like Channel 9 or something?
Yeah, I was working for Channel 9
So
doing the
TV
on-screen scoring. Yeah.
We hath both drunk from the same trough, Ben.
Yeah, indeed.
Surprised we haven't seen you at the Christmas party.
So, Ben, this is great. You've got the greats of Richie Benaud in there. Bill Laurie would have come past. Obviously, Mark Taylor, Ian Healy.
A lot of
Michael
pressure.
Slater, Tony Gregg.
A lot of pressure on you as a scorer, I imagine, Ben.
Yeah, quite a bit, yeah.
So, Ben...
How much pressure?
Yeah.
To the point where it might reach a critical level that pushed something out of your body that maybe wasn't welcome?
Sometimes when you're working hard with no toilet breaks and there's a spicy lunch at the MCG, you just don't have much choice but to let it out.
Yes. And
what happened when you let it out?
It was a bit louder than I expected, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And it interrupted the commentary a little bit. The 3 commentators turned around and looked at me a little bit weirdly. And
which commentary team was in?
I cannot remember. It was a good 5 years ago, but it was just the usual blokes. And
I like to think it was Richie Benaud.
Did you get Benaud?
Do you think you got Benaud?
Well, I know that Benno wasn't commentating at the time because as the 3 commentators turned around, I instinctively turned around as well, just a little bit through guilt, and found myself looking at the retreating figure of Richie Benaud.
So you possibly framed Richie Benaud.
Well, everyone seemed to agree it was Richie. They kind of looked at each other and went, "Oh, Richie, at it again."
which I wish made the broadcast.
Absolutely a winds of glory, Ben. And a great way to wrap up the year. Thank you, buddy.
Stunning work, mate.
Pleasure, thanks.
What's that smell? It's the winds of glory.
Hamish and Andy here, and
We'd rarely say, hey, it's Andy here. Sounds like an ad.
true. When I said, I was like, don't normally say that, but then
Just Hamish and Andy, we're with people
Yeah,
or
yeah. Hamish-
driving you home sometimes.
it was the here that was weird, wasn't it?
Yes, it sounded like, Hi, Blake from The Bachelor here. I've copped a lot of flack recently.
True.
If you're copping a lot of flack, make sure you use Ultra Protect flak guards. It does sound like an ad.
Hey, most weekends, organising committees of international sports will call us and say, is there anything we need to change up with any of our sports?
Yeah.
And I got a call from the Australian Open tennis this week.
Oh, great. A rules change or an organisational change?
Well, it's not so much a rules change, but I had a suggestion for them.
Yeah,
okay,
great.
obviously, they didn't ring me, but I do have a suggestion for the...
Terrific. Bueno.
I do have a suggestion for the Australian Open tennis. Now, having watched the US Open just recently, right? Everyone
Could you make Australian Open a bit more American?
Everyone loves Hawkeye.
Yes.
Would that be fair to say?
The whistling,
Well,
the machine.
The machine. So when someone challenges, the crowd all go, ooh,
Yeah.
right.
And
And you're wondering whether this person's feeling the pressure and is the player going to be right? I think there's not enough focus on whether the umpire's right.
So you mean like when the umpire's called it out and the player challenges and...
So, or called it in and the player challenges.
Yeah.
Everyone's seeing if the player's wrong or right, then they lose a challenge. I feel there should be a penalty introduced for the umpire.
A spanking?
Here's what I'm open to suggestions. I've got mine, but if you think you can improve it, by all means, that's why we're a think tank. Jack, you can jump in as well.
A natural punishment would be that they stand up the other end with their bum on the line and the other person's allowed to serve at them.
I know, but we can't do that for every challenge.
Could.
Well, here's what I was thinking.
I don't see why you couldn't.
So if the umpire, the incorrect umpire, the person who has got it wrong, right? Because normally all they are subdued to is a few sniggers from the audience and perhaps the cameraman lingers on them while they look a bit shirty. I think the incorrect umpire should have to be made to wear a red nose. Right.
Until they get a call right?
No, until someone else gets a call wrong.
Oh, or like a dunce hat that goes around the umpires.
Yeah, exactly. They can wear a dunce hat. So whatever it might be, they carry a symbol on them. And then when hopefully they're hoping that a player challenges someone else's call. And then if that umpire's incorrect, they walk across and ceremonially put the nose.
Right.
And then at the end, whoever has the nose at the end of the game
gets
a punishment because
gets a ball served at their bum. What I'm thinking of
By the winner.
is also a ceremony, but more like this.
Okay.
So if they get the call right, a ball boy brings out a tea set, and the player who challenged incorrectly has to pour them a tea, and has to wait patiently while they finish their tea. Okay, this is I'm more thinking Wimbledon.
Yeah,
because that would sort of suit tea.
Probably an iced
tea in Melbourne for the Australian Open.
Yeah.
If they get it wrong, the iced tea set is brought out and the player can throw it in their face.
Okay. So you think instant punishment rather than... I just think there's something exciting about them.
You might even have to go to an ad. Like, it might get so normal. Like, oh, and the umpire... The call's upheld, and now the tea set comes onto the court. Okay, we're going to take a break while Djokovic throws the iced tea in the umpire's face, and we'll be back. We'll be back after...
I know we've got to go, Jack, but one question. We've got to go to a song. Is he throwing hot tea in the face?
You're not allowed to do the face. You have to throw it at their back.
Crutch. Wait, while Djokovic pours a hot tea on her crutch.
The umpire has to say, thank you, may I have another? And it's considered poor sportsmanship to get them again, but you can. Usually the player will say, no, I think you've had enough. And then you get back to the point.
There you go, Australian Open.
We wouldn't mind seeing it.
The happy hour. Haim, I failed the challenge yesterday.
Not an easy one, though, Ando.
Claire, a lovely listener, Claire, she had a list of 100 things that a male must tick off before they could date her.
Like a sort of a mating bucket list.
It was pretty tough. In fact, you were reading out just random numbers. We had the bingo ball.
We've still got a bingo ball cage here, and essentially just pulling out numbers 1 through 100 randomly, and then she reads the corresponding number off the list.
This gives you an idea.
Certainly not easy. This is one from yesterday. What have we got here? Number 16.
16, Claire.
All right. Research the periodic table.
Oh, my God. There were some toughies in there.
I failed 3 from 3. Straight after this, Ham.
We're going to keep going until you get one. We've got her back. She's got her list again. We're going to get her up on the phone. I've got the balls. This could take an hour, Ando.
Yeah. Buckle up, everyone.
You might have not. If you strike out 97 times in a row, then I guess we just say it wasn't meant to be.
Ham, it's my time to have another crack at Claire's list. If you don't know about Claire's list, we welcome her now.
Hi, Claire.
Welcome back.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Good, very, very good. Still thinking a lot about your list, and I know Andy took the loss hard.
Yeah.
That he wasn't able to get a single one of the 100 qualities that the future husband in your life must possess. Now, he only had 3 goes.
Yeah.
We essentially what we're looking for here is a little bit of a G up for Ando, just to see if he could get one. Now, to make it fair, we're going to randomly select the qualities again off the list of 100.
Sure.
We've got the bingo balls. I mean, are there some that are easier than others or harder than others?
Would you say I was unlucky?
And I think, well, you probably were unlucky. I was sort of thinking about it. And, given your Boy Scout, I think you had a bit of a Boy Scout background, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Well, see, there were some questions that probably would very much pertain to that sort of, growing up. Yeah, but I would say, too, that...
Can you cook pancakes on a tin with a candle underneath?
Well, I would say...
And do the periodic table.
I don't think there's many girls in Australia that would have a list...
Like yours?
No,
as unusual.
I said it yesterday, Claire,
if every girl did, no one would be married.
No, but I like what it represents, Claire. You're a girl that knows what she's about, and you're not going to settle for second best. And I salute that. Here we go. Here's the thing: that don't make it easy for Ando. We've got to do be honest here, and don't just try and. Well, he doesn't want to pity one.
Yeah, and Hayden's moving.
All right, here we go. Annie wants to know that he genuinely got one. Number 24.
Okay. Must use a handkerchief instead of a tissue.
What?
Are you after a husband or a grandpa?
It's not 1910. He must call pants slacks and wear a singlet under his shirt.
What if Andy uses a tissue, but it is monogrammed? He puts his initials on each tissue. So you want a guy that you want sort of more of a gentleman.
Yes, definitely.
Looking for someone distinguished.
My brother would pass that. He's a hanky man, and I relentlessly give him grief about it.
I have never met anyone our age that's a hanky man.
Yeah.
Well, neither have I, actually.
Okay, All right, Claire, that's a fail. Okay, what's the next number, Ham?
Number 30.
Okay. Describe the laws of quantum physics.
Describe the laws of quantum physics. Oh, excuse me while I dab at my eyes with hankies because I am crying with disbelief.
No,
Claire, give us a hint. How many laws are there?
Well, I think the whole thing about quantum physics is that no one actually really understands it.
Yeah.
So
what if he could describe one? Have a crack at one, Ando.
No, keep going. New balls. I need to keep going till I get one. We can't sit there and have a crack at quantum physics.
If you're going to have a crack at anything, at least just lie that you've got a hanky. Okay.
Well, just as a general, quantum, anyway.
Okay, yeah, no,
move on.
He hasn't got it. 48.
Sorry, which one?
48.
Must have an unusual hobby.
Okay.
What do you got, mate?
Well, trumpet. I mean, playing the trumpet, is that unusual?
Is that a hobby, though? I suppose it's a hobby.
That's a hobby.
Do you play the trumpet?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
well, it's not...
Hang on, we've got some interest from Claire.
How unusual is it? Is it unusual enough?
Well, see, I would prefer something like the Bavarian flute or the bagpipes.
Too traditional. Your musical instrument's too traditional.
Sit outside sometimes.
You could probably have... I'm sure you have a lot of interesting hobbies.
Stargazing occasionally. Sit outside.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on. They're just drinking outside. Name your favourite nebula.
Okay, one more.
Okay. 18. Come on.
Give the sorry.
I'm not getting it.
Claire.
Give the prices of gold, oil, and the stock prices. Just know them at any given moment.
What's the spot price of oil, gold, and shares?
Just general stocks, like so maybe CBA shares or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're getting oil at the moment for $680 a barrel.
An all-time record. I think it's... All right, let's just go to the next one. 19. What's number 19 on the list?
Okay. Point using the sun.
Yeah.
Or a compass.
Yeah.
Well, preferably not a compass because they're on your phone.
Yeah.
But be able to point to the north at any time.
Oh, you could
Yeah,
do
could
that.
do
I've
that.
seen Andy do that.
Yes.
He knows rises in the east, sets in the west. That's how Andy knows his directions best. Oh, he's got it! Just by knowing where the sun is. He's now one step closer to being your husband, Claire.
I will learn all the others, Claire. Don't worry. Come back to me on this one. Thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Good luck on the quest. And if you're the kind of guy that knows his quantum physics and has a Bavarian flute wrapped up in a hanky, head on out to try and find Claire this weekend.
It's the happy hour. Our final week for the happy hour this week. We should point out that Friday, Ham, we announced yesterday that Brent, the Mixmaster, a man, look, more of a hero, a phenomenon, a legend that has a gift of being able to combine regular foods and making them superfoods.
He is a legend, Anna, and he is a hero. And we're not just saying that because we spent most of yesterday's show going, how was your honeymoon? You've just got married. And he said, I've been married for 4 years. This was just a regular trip to Europe where I discovered some new foods. So by no means is our lashings of compliments on him to get ourselves out of that awkward moment. He is going to unveil on Friday's show his latest creation. He has never let us down.
One that he thinks is his best.
I'm so excited. I'm starving already thinking about it. This is the guy that bought us the chicken nanajana.
Yeah, we will...
butter chicken wrapped in a naan. You know, if you were listening to that show, you would have heard some great stuff.
Hey, we're going to dedicate the whole show to it, which is probably not even enough.
It might not be enough, Ando.
It might be.
It's going to be so amazing. We're going to need to take about 6 months off to just shake it out.
I mean, it's a kind of event that should be simulcast over all radio stations, but apparently some of the gooses over at Nova...
Oh, come on, guys.
won't
come
take
on,
it.
Mix. You say you're new and fresh, but take the bloody simulcast.
Yeah, exactly. So that's disappointing.
Anyway, that's our own axe to grind. We'll continue to petition them.
But hey, speaking of eating, there's a segment we also have to wrap up for this year.
Yeah.
Something with regards to food phenomenons that you can't explain. It's
Ripley's Eat It or Not.
Ripley's Eat It or Not. If you were unshielding a packet of something and then you saw its own phenomenon there, and you decide whether you want to eat it or not, or keep it from museum, that's where Ripley's Eat It or Not comes about. Hey, in the past, we've had the triple-decker Oreo.
Yep.
It went biscuit, cream, biscuit, cream, biscuit. There was not 2 slices of biscuit in the middle.
No.
Hence a phenomenon.
And from there, that really spawned a bunch of submissions. Some were amazing, some weren't.
Yep.
We had, look off the top of my head,
Double-decker M&M.
The double M&M was good.
Really only good.
For me, it was almost in the same category as a couple of double Maltesers we were getting sent in. It's something where you look at it and you go, I know how that happened.
Yeah, but the chocolate normally gets the Maltesers together. This one was pretty amazing to have a hard shell.
The candy infused. I didn't want to poo-poo it at the time because spirits were so high, but it felt like on the candy. It's surely just on the candy coating machine.
Yeah,
candy.
Jeez, all right.
It's just hard shell.
Have you got one to better today?
Well, then can we roll through what else we've had?
Yeah,
The double cool mint. 2 cool mints. Oh, was it Mentos?
Double Mentos.
2 not joined together, but there was meant to be a single Mentos pack.
Yeah.
And 2 Mentos had snuck in there. Now, look, I don't want to come at this segment with a cynical eye, but again, you go, I have a hunch of how that happened on the machine, on the factory floor. Yeah. We were hoping to find more sort of Jesus face in a toasted cheese sandwich.
Packet of pizza shapes. Where half the packet, like a fun-size recess lunchtime type packet.
Little lunch packet.
It had 5 biscuits in it, and half the thing was full of seasoning.
And I loved that because we were like, we don't know how that's happened. Yeah. People have sent it to Tiny Teddy with a small mohawk. Yeah. That's just sloppy biscuit. That's just a bit of sloppy biscuit dough in the press. We know how that happened at the factory. Yeah. It's getting to the stage now, and I cannot count the amount of submissions we've had that are pizza shapes or savoury shapes that are stuck together.
Yeah,
now, guys, we know how they're made. They're made in a big sheet. They're stamped by a machine into a shape, and they shake them to make them single biscuits. If one hasn't unshook, that's just I just believe it.
Exactly.
Believe it and eat it.
Yeah,
not don't believe it and don't eat it.
We had a girl that wrote in and said, in one handful, I took out of M&Ms and I had every single colour.
Yeah, that's just chance. That's just food chance.
Her friend actually emailed in yesterday and said she actually didn't have brown. She was lying to us.
It's not even the most improbable food chance. So, look, I'm sitting here going, I mean, my dream was that we hire out like the Sydney Exhibition Centre, the Melbourne Exhibition Centre, or even just a wing of a museum to one day open it up. Now, a lot of the time people have eaten the food in question.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time, we just get a photo. Yeah. And photos are fine for museums, but you would like to have the actual artifact. This is what tipped me over the edge a bit this morning. The thing that kicked off this whole thing, as you said, was the triple Oreo.
Yeah.
I know we've had a few people mention this, but I hadn't really seen it till this morning. The biscuit cream Oreo combination, it's a product. I'm just showing Andy the footage now, the picture I've got. They're sold individually as a snack. They exist. They're not a factory malfunction.
Yeah, right.
I'm not saying the person that submitted it faked it and said, "Oh, look what I found in a normal pack of Oreos," but I am saying, don't you think it makes it a little less amazing if you go and see like the Turin Shroud, which is the thing that Jesus is meant to have worn, then you go around the corner and there's a whole shop selling them.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Know what you mean.
If we're being honest, as curators of the museum...
You want to close this thing down?
Do we have enough for a museum?
No. No.
Even with the double banana, which we suspected was photoshopped.
Someone
not have enough.
Someone sent in a large cornflake.
All right. Before the shame of this spreads any further.
There was a nerd, the candy nerd, that was nearly as big as a 20-cent piece.
Just a cluster.
Couldn't get out of that. Couldn't get out of the pack.
Just a machine malfunction. The only one I was impressed with was the big Malteser.
That was impressive.
So if I had my way, it'd be us driving around with a mobile museum and it's just the big Malteser. Which wasn't even the size of a golf ball, so don't get your hopes up.
That's all we've got time for this afternoon.
That's what this week's about, celebrating some things and just shutting down a few stinkers.
Well, the music's coming a bit loud. Well, that's exciting. That's all we've got time for. HamishandAndy.com for anything you may have missed.
Yep.
Thanks very much for being with us. We'll catch you tomorrow to round out the week.
Thanks for all the submissions. We all tried our best, but honesty is the best policy. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Hamish and Andy podcast. To contribute to the show, head to hamishandandy.com/topics.